And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Webby-nominated podcast featuring Choey and Jandler.
Powered by Riverside FM.
Me. The sassy shepherd struggles with syphilis. The sassy shepherd struggles with syphilis. Syphilis. Ma. I would like an Arnold Palmer at the omelet parlor.
Powered by Riverside FM.
All right, welcome everybody to Choey and Jandler's the fun time, super terrific, happy hour. Welcome, Choey.
Welcome, Jandler.
Last week, my fault. Last week I was like, man, it took forever I was like, I got to hear everything. I was like, when did G drop a bomb? I was like, oh yeah, F-bomb right here.
It's like, you're like, dude, calm down. It's not a celebration, man. What's going on?
Exactly. Earmuffs, everybody. All right, welcome, everybody. April 3rd, first episode of April. Dude, let's go ahead and lead off with our holidays.
Here are today's effing holidays.
April 3rd. Did you know, first off, this is National Film Score Day. On April 3rd, National Film Score Day recognizes the musical masterpieces called film scores, and more specifically, the very talented composers who create them. Hashtag National Film Score. I always love John Williams, by the way. You know, the E.T. guy, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Jaws.
I was going to say, Star Wars. Besides John Williams, I don't know anybody else. Yeah. Like I'm like, because he did like Star Wars, Indiana Jones.
There was a guy, I can't think of, there's some people, yeah, but he's clearly the most well-known, you know, and I think he's almost retired, but.
Did you say Pemberton? That's a pretty cool last name.
Yeah, Daniel Pemberton. Like, he's done some stuff. It's also National Find a Rainbow Day, sir. If you're ever bored, go outside on National Rainbow Day. Find a Rainbow Day. It's every year on April 3rd. This day challenges us to look at the sky and find a colorful ray of hope cast across it. Hashtag Find a Rainbow Day. Sorry, I'm not laughing at the holiday there. When I read it and it's like, look at the sky, I was thinking of like people staring at the sun. Speaking of, did you ever see when they do like the solar eclipses or whatever? I guess there's like a YouTube video where Trump is out there without sunglasses on, and he keeps looking up at the sun. Like he did it like 3 times. It was crazy. So, you're not one of the guys that stares at the sun, are you?
Who's talking to me right now? I can hear you, but I can't see you. No, not at all. Like, I mean, probably when I was littler, like I was like, because you do like this stupid, like, can you look at the sun kind of junk. But now I'm like, no, I don't know.
Now you listen to those old wives' tales, right? Where you're like, if you look at it for 2 seconds, your eyes will burn out.
Well, dude, it's true. I mean, to an extent.
Yeah.
Like, you think about, like, if you look at the light bulb in your room, like, and then close your eyes, you can see like the light bulb in your eyes. So it's like, can you imagine like
what
if
was
you, like,
that special eclipse we had a few years ago? Do you remember that one?
I don't know. Whenever I see it, I'm just like, all right, am I going to be able to actually do anything with this? Or let's go outside and watch it or whatever.
Well, I don't see. It was a
full
something. It was a week. It was during the week. So I know we were at school and we actually went out, right? We had special glasses for the kids. We had to keep instructing them, don't stare at the thing, right? But where we are, yes, the city, it wasn't as good as it should have been here because probably of everything we put in the sky. You know, with pollution and everything. It was supposed to be like dark, like almost really dark for like a couple of minutes. It was like haze gray, you know, and it was just like, I had to show them videos in other cities and other parts of the world.
It was actually pretty tight. It was actually pretty tight where I was at, because I'm like still living in the same area, but working there too.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty cool because it got like pretty darn dark, and to the point where I was like, all right, like, I know it's not supposed to happen, but I'm like, if the apocalypse were to start, like the end of the world kind of thing, that's how I would picture that it would have started. It would have been like the sun goes.
You're like, it's the aliens from Independence. You're the aliens from Independence Day. They've arrived. They've blocked out the sun.
The stupid people in the very first one. We're here. Take us with you.
Today is also National Tweed Day. And the reason I put this on there, I used to wear a tweed. I actually wear it every now and then with if I get a nice blazer. And if I ever go to like a speakeasy. But I picked this holiday because if you remove one letter, it's National Weed Day. You know, for Choey and Jandler fans.
Do you go to a speak? When have you ever gone to a speak? Like, was that like just a joke?
I haven't gone yet, but I want to go.
Oh, you're like, whenever I go to a speakeasy, I'm like, when is this? When is this? You said it like as if like, when I go to the store to get like a quart of milk every once in a while.
Yeah, I'm like, Joey's like, next time hit me up, man. I gotta go.
I'm like, when did this happen?
Suit. All right, so real quick though, on April 3rd each year, National Tweed Day focuses on all things tweed. This day has a couple of approaches to celebrating the day, so you can decide which one you believe is the source of National Tweed Day. But I do like how it looks, man. But I will say this, as someone who used to live in Illinois, tweed it's nice, but it's much better for up north, just because it's down here it's a little hotter. You can't wear those often. Unless you enjoy sweating,
I have a really nice now granted it's not tweed, but I have like a really nice trench coat, like jacket type thing.
Yeah,
real nice gray that I got and I got it on clearance from Men's Warehouse, and it's a really nice coat. I just can never. I wore it like one winter, and it was like forcing it, because I was like, I'm gonna wear it just because I want to, and it was like by like 11 o'clock, it was like. I would look like a moron walking around with it. So I was like, I can't.
I remember my first year when I moved back to Texas and I was teaching 5th grade. This one student was like, Mr. Bing, it's freezing outside, right? And he had this thick, heavy jacket. Remember like the starter jackets back in the day? It was like that level thickness. And I'm like, nah, dude, it's like 60 and it's going to be about 89, 90 degrees later. I was like, it's not freezing, man. It's just chilly right now, But now, yeah, it's just different, the weather down here. All right, that's for the holidays. Let's move on to this week's headlines.
It's time for this week's edition of Choey and Jandler's Headlines. Yay! Hooray!
Woo! First headline, I believe I texted you the other day. I wrote this down on our headlines if you were looking at it, or our slideshow. On March 22nd, I was on our website, right? Our Spotify website, and I was just looking at the plays, the streams. And so March 22nd, which would have been there's 9. So we're almost 2 weeks away, right? About 2 weeks ago, there was 3,004 plays, right? Streams and plays, 3,004. I want you to keep that in mind. Right here with the refresh button, real quick to see if it popped up any more here. Yeah, you did the drum roll since I was screening away. I want to see if anything popped else up, because when I did it earlier, it was 3,200. Right. We are still at 3,200 exactly. But in 2 weeks, we've almost had 200 plays, man.
That's good.
Yeah. Now, a friend I was talking to, and I'll save her name for now. She, I joked with her.
Say her name. Say her name.
Well, right now, I'm calling her Ramonica. I'm putting Rachel and Monica together, and I'm calling her Ramonica.
Gotcha.
But I was telling her, I was telling Mother Bing about our streaming. It's been going up, and about the new countries, right?
Yeah.
And she just had to make a comment. She's like, maybe the Middle East is like using you for something nefarious or something. And I was like, you're so paranoid, Mom. But then I said that to the girl I was talking to, and she kind of she could be onto something. It's just funny, But I also want to point out that over the last week, over almost 90% of our listeners have come from Canada.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
They've been enjoying us a lot more, so it's really awesome, And also that website's being a little, Molson's Ice, right?
Those
it's being really
hosers.
slow right now. Yeah, but our state check, I believe we're up to 34 states now.
Shut up. That's
yeah. And what last time weren't we at 30? Weren't we at 30 before? I think. Isn't that remember the last time we counted?
Right
Does
there.
that sound? Does that sound about right though? That we were 30 the last time we counted?
Maybe. Sounds close. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? No one will ever know. To quote our favorite
in the
guy,
last month,
we have the most states listening right now. The most.
In the right now in the last month, yeah, Canada is dwarfing what we're doing here. So we got here. You help me count, okay, sir?
Okay.
Texas, Minnesota, Hawaii, Massachusetts. Oh, hold up. I'm on the last 30 days. So sorry. I'm trying to look at all time. I was like, it's not going. All right, Texas, Hawaii, Virginia, California, Washington, Utah, Missouri, Florida, Illinois, New York. You're at 10, right?
Yes.
Okay. Michigan, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, Ohio, Massachusetts, New Jersey, South Carolina, North Carolina, Maryland, Oklahoma. That's 20, right?
20.
Okay. Oregon, Colorado, Connecticut, Arizona, Alabama, Georgia, Idaho, Wisconsin, South Dakota, Louisiana. That's 30.
That's 30.
And Tennessee and Kentucky. So we're at 32. Still pretty cool. We see.
And DC.
I want to get.
I mean, technically it's not a state,
DC. Though. Yeah. I'm still waiting on G to get us Puerto Rico, but and I'm trying to get us Alaska, because it's really hard to get Alaska, But
well, yeah, because there's like wolves
so
and timber.
That was just those
and
checks.
Eskimos.
Yeah, but they got nothing better to do. Wouldn't it be cool if we get like a massive flood in Alaska during the winter months? Because they're like, we got nothing better to do, than hear about these people complaining how hot it is.
Go hang out with our Inuit followers.
Exactly. All right. This next bit of news.
Uh-oh. Shut up. No way.
I haven't heard any news, but I'm going to guess this may not come as a surprise to you that we did not make the finalists for the Webby.
Oh, okay. Well, that sucks too. I thought like your hamster died again. I was like, what? No.
Oh, no, sorry. No. But, speaking of, I went in this weekend, before we went to the comedy show, before we went to see Nate Bargatze, I went in to do sub plans and everything, right? And he sleeps under this little hut, right? And so I always, when I go in there, I always like to check, hey, you're still alive, right, guy? And I pulled up the hut, and he wasn't moving. And I was like, oh. And so, like, I'm kind of, like, poking him. And he still was, like, he wasn't really moving. But his, it looked like he was breathing, right? Like, his stomach was breathing, but he wouldn't move. And I'm, like, nudging him. And then I accidentally bumped the table, which startled the cage, and he got up and he moved fine. But I was like, dude, it's like, it's the last thing I do to tell these kids is we lost another hamster. But no, I was just saying, like, our dream of the Webby this year, I think, is gone. Unless we can get the People's Choice Award.
Where, like, so they would, like, do they notify you, hey, you didn't win? Or I guess it's just like, hey, they announced the winners.
I don't know. Maybe we'll find out this week. I mean, all I know is, like, the last time I read an email, they said, hey, March 31st, we'll let you know. They called it the nominations, right? So I figure I call it the finalists because we're all, like, nominated for it. They were calling the people, I guess, that make it to the next round, the nominees. I haven't heard anything, so I was just guessing,
Gotcha.
And hopefully I'm wrong, but maybe they'll say, yeah, you made it, but you got landslide victory for the other person, and you're like, okay, but just saying. All right, so I still have a lot of headlines, and one thing I'm going to move over to a wine and cheese corner. But I will tell you, as I just brought it up, we went to the Nate Bargatze comedy show, which I enjoyed. Did you enjoy it?
It was good. It was good. The opening acts left
good.
a lot to desire, but his stuff was good.
Yeah. Yeah, and everything he said was, like, new to me, so I liked that. But I will also say I'm glad I took the next day off, because before we went to see the show, I was at a soccer game and I had a lot of sun in my face, right? I was exhausted the next day. Like, I didn't wake up till about 6:30, which I know sounds early, but that was late for me, right? Because I still had appointments. I set up, since I took the day off, I set up these appointments, My point of my story is I'm out and I'm seeing this text string later on. Apparently, 2 boys in 3rd grade got in a fight, and I don't even know if it was over soccer or basketball, but somehow one of them, like, they were competing over the game, and it sounded like somebody probably said something, and then the other person reacted by pushing, and then the other person reacted by hitting and swinging and hitting him in the face. So they had 3 days of ISS. I told my teachers that I worked with, I was like, and I'll get your opinion on this. I know parents wouldn't probably want to agree with this, but I blame parents for this because so many kids are taught stand up for yourself, and they don't know what that means. And it's like, if I make fun of you, you would think you have to stand up for yourself by hitting me or pushing me. And then now that you push me, I think I got to stand up by pushing or hitting you back. And it's just this chain reaction. And it all comes back to the household, And I was just like, ugh. Thoughts on that?
No, I agree. It's oh, there you go. Allergies killing me. So many times as an admin, I have to tell the parents because they come in, they're like, "Well, I teach my kid." And I'm like, "No, I get you. I understand. You teach your kid what you want to teach them, but you understand that self-defense is defined as your child is backed into a corner and there's no other option besides hitting or kicking or doing whatever, because they push you in an open field. It's not self-defense to hit them back and start a fight." When they would say, I mean, so many times it got to the point where I'm like, right, you can argue all you want, like, but understand, like, I've got to go do other things. Your child is guilty just the same as the other child. It is what it is. And the parents would be like, "Well, I don't agree." I'm like, "Oh, good. I support you in not agreeing, but the law says and the rules say, and that's what my job is to enforce." And a lot of them just don't get the fact that it's like, oh, they were messing with me. Like you said, they call them a name, and all of a sudden they go start a fight about it. It's like, teach your child how to engage differently, and most fights in schools wouldn't even happen because it's like, they called them stupid, so they had to defend themselves. And I'm like, so they called them a name and they have to hit.
Yeah,
that's why your child
it's
acts
crazy,
like that.
but yeah. And have you ever had like similar topic, right? Parents would be like, this will happen, right? An incident like this, and then one parent would be like, "What's happening?" Like, say I'm calling you about your kid, and then you're like, "What happened to the other kid? What kind of discipline are they getting?" I'm like, "No, they wouldn't need to worry about the other kid." But I've had parents do that. They'll be like, "I don't want my kid being the only one in trouble," and I'm like, "Look, I can't really tell you everything that's going on, but just know that that's not the case, But I've had parents that'll ask that.
The catchphrase that I would just use is, the other students are receiving appropriate consequences given the nature of the situation. I'm not legally allowed to tell you anything else besides that. Much the same way that I'm going to tell the other parent when they ask the same question, exactly what I told you.
Yeah, good to know. It's showing Jandler, we can be serious. It is possible.
Well,
right?
And I would always just tell them, your kid can tell you. So when your kid finds out, because I'm sure they will, because kids talk, your kid can tell you all they want, but I'm not legally allowed to do so. I don't want to lose my job over this. So,
and I know they do that all the time, and I don't like it. And again, it's not I don't blame the parents for this because they're just speaking on their side. But then like I might say, "Hey, Choey," or I might call your parents and I was like, "Hey, Choey had problems with this other student," and they'll be like, "You mean Daniel?" And I'm like, I can't really talk about it. Like, they're like, "Yeah, they already told me. Choey already told me all about this kid." And I'm like, "Yeah, I can't really talk about that kid. I'm sorry."
Maybe next time you give me a heads up and I would have been able to watch out.
Yeah, exactly. But all right, I'm going to roll to the break. Is that cool?
Yes, sir.
We're still doing some stuff, just moving it, sliding on the episode. So break, song time, ads.
We say pros gonna be cheers, mate. And cheers made again, or simply cheers. Sometimes it's auto, sunny, other times it's cheers. You effing hoser. We also say sade, salute, salute, ortega, skull, let's all say. Now's that okay in the Russian way. In Vietnam, we shout out, yo, walugi wow wow, make South Africa glow. In Portugal, it's a solid soda and button mo. Ukraine's here to stay. Taiwan says compare, drink it down with pride. Then someone slams the table, next round they cried. In Thailand we clink and shout out Chong. Then back to the bar till the liquor's gone. For Jamaica it's allowed, your mom. No matter the place, we drink till dawn. In Israel they shout L'chaim with cheer. Bangladesh says joy, hope, raise your beer. Poland sings Nazdrovie with pride. Lithuania says Swaika, the worldwide. In India we say cheer, or badai ho if you're bold. Hungary says Ega Shedder, Dre don't go too slow. New Caledonia joins in with Vala Votra, let it flow. From Ghana it's Akpatesi, let the good times roll. And Serbia shout Jivali from the soul. In Morocco we cry Bisaha with flair. Ecuador says salute, fiesta everywhere. And in Finland we say kippis, raise your beer in the air. Argentina shout salute, tango feet hit the floor. Chile echo salute, one more round to pour. Hong Kong yells yum, sing skyscraper lights ignite. Bahrain calls ya ish, desert drinks at night. Jordan cheers, Fiji tack, ancient stones look on. Iraq says say hi, we keep the party strong. Malaysia smiles, Minimum street food, midnight swirl. Singapore roars, yum, saying cheers around the world. That's how Choey and Jandler cheers around the world. Cheers, cheers, around the world. Different languages, same sentiment. Raising our glasses to friendship and joy. Cheers, cheers around the world. Cheers, cheers around the world. Laughing loud with every boy and girl. From dive bars to rooftops unfurled. That's how we toast around the world. Yeah, that's how we toast around the world.
Hi there, I'm here to help Choey and Jandler to read an advertisement for buyblacket.com. Please shop buyblacket.com. Are you looking for unique gifts at unbeatable prices? Then look no further. Buyblacket.com has quality merchandise for everyone on your list, from gifts for cat and dog lovers to American fans, beer enthusiasts, and even Jesus lovers. As for teachers, we didn't forget about you. Please don't miss our funny attire to brighten up your classroom. So bring a smile to your loved ones' faces and shop buyblacket.com today. Tell them Choey and Jandler sent you.
Hi there, Ryan Reynolds here on behalf of my friends Choey and Jandler. You may know me from movies where I either save the world or ruin Thanksgiving. But today, folks, I'm not here to sell you cologne, crypto, or questionable NFTs. I'm actually here to tell you about Fish.audio. This isn't really me talking right now. This is my voice, made by Fish.audio, which frankly is terrifying. It sounds exactly like me, and trust me, I've heard my voice in 87 trailers. This is better. Whether you're a podcaster with a potato microphone, a game developer building an army of space dolphins, or just lonely and want a perfect Morgan Freeman to read your grocery list out loud to you, Fish.audio has you covered. Fish.audio is easily one of the best voice generation platforms I have ever used, which is saying something, because I've done voiceover for a toothpaste brand in 4 languages I don't even speak. And speaking of that, Fish.audio is cross-lingual, which means it supports 13 different languages. Their amazing program also allows you to clone voices. Fish.audio make your voice legendary, or at least make my voice say weird things. I legally can't stop you either way.
We're in that second half of the episode. By the way, I know I've said this before. I love how White Gandalf will be like, he likes the second half parts. He likes our with the music and everything. He can tell that it's like a sketch in a way, like a bit. He's like, oh, we're moving to this now. We're moving to this. So it's kind of so this we're gonna go. Dude, I was looking at what's cool about keeping the episodes on that slide is I can see, okay, we talked about this, right? Kind of go back and look. This is my first wine and cheese corner of the season. And I'm like, I'm happy. But I feel like I should put that on the wine and cheese corner list. Need more wine and cheese corners, but sometimes it's hard finding things funny to make fun of that the kids whine about, you know? So I'm going to send you here.
I think
Go
it's
ahead, I'm
not that
sorry.
it's, like, it's hard to find it. I think it's just like you get desensitized to it.
Oh, that's a better way of putting it. You're like, because I've had parents or somebody or even other teachers. How do you let the kid talk like that, or how do you deal with that kid? Speaking of that, dude, I had a kid that started crying today at 8:40 a.m. Didn't stop crying until 10:59. That is
Jesus.
over 2 hours. It's almost 2.5 hours. And some people were even Monica was like, "How do you deal with that?" And it's like you said, you just desensitized to it. But I would tell you, it was so. This will be on the Wine and Cheese Court. It was so tough trying to teach because of my school district, and I love my school district. But when kids have meltdowns, they don't really take them out and remove them from the situation. They just try and calm them down in the classroom. So you have a kid melting down, loud as can be, and you're trying to get everybody else to focus. And one of my girls, she was like covering her ears. She had to take a break in my calm down corner because she was stressed out beyond belief because of all that crying, right?
Whatever, dude. You teach third grade this year, right? Like third grade?
Yeah.
Whatever. Children. I don't know. Like my kids here at the house, like whenever they were younger, they'd be like, "Oh, I need like a hot shower," and I'm like, "You're 13. You have no stress. You don't have stress. You don't need a hot shower. You need a hot shower when you're in your 30s and you've been on your feet all day. You've been teaching or you've been doing all sorts of other crap. That's when you need a freaking hot shower. Not when you're like been sitting on your butt at home and then you went to school and sat in class and walked to a few other classes and sat and then came home and played on your phone. That's not a hot shower, dude."
That's when Choey says, "You don't know the struggle I went through."
I'm like, "You don't understand what school used to be like before cell phones."
All right, so here's some of the wine and cheese corners or things, what you call it, phrases/sentences I've heard students say that I put on my list, right?
Yeah.
One, kids will just yell out, "My pencil broke," and I'm like, "Well, go sharpen it," Like, oh, like they act like it's the end of the world. Well, go fix it, I had to stop saying, "Hey, problem solved," because kids don't understand what that means. I have to tell them what I actually want them to do. Here's one I thought was really funny. I've had kids yell out, "Mr. Bing, I'm out of space on this sheet of paper." Okay, turn it over. They're like, "What?" Like it's magic, Yeah, there's two sides, Have you experienced that at home, or any of your days in the classroom?
Well, I was just going to say, because the Chappin that I was going to talk about was actually problem-solving skills, and so it fits very well in with your theme.
Okay. Others, I say I like this. Not that I like experiencing. I like it. I think it's funny. They'll be like, "He stuck his tongue out at me. She made the L sign on her forehead," and I'm like, "Big problem, little problem." I was like, guys, don't. It's like, do you remember that joke? Or like, "Hey doc, it hurts when I touch my shoulder. It hurts when I touch my knee. It hurts when I do this." And they're like, "Well, don't touch it." Don't you remember that joke back in the day?
Yeah,
felt like
it
that
hurts when I do this. Well, don't do that.
Yeah, but they'll be like, "He's sticking his tongue out at me." Well, don't look at him. Like, oh my gosh. It's like, close your eyes. And then that kid that was crying for 2.5 hours, "I never get to do what I want." That's why he was crying, by the way, because we didn't let him do what he wanted to do.
8:40 in the morning, how much? You didn't have a whole lot of time to not get to do what you wanted.
Nah, he did a math. We were doing a math exit slip, 4 questions. He did it in probably less than 3 minutes. Did no work on the scratch paper, which I told the kids, "I am going to be grading your scratch paper now as part of your grade," because there's a lot of people that just aren't doing any strategies, and I'm trying to get them off that. And this kid he got 2 out of 4, which is 50% on it. I'm not gonna put a 50 in the grade book. I'm gonna curve the grades a little, right? Because there's only 4 questions. But this kid got like a 216 on our math map at the middle of the year, so he knows how to do math. And I was like, no, "You can do better than this. You didn't do any strategies. I'm gonna have you redo it." And then my collab partner came in, and I was like, "Hey, can you talk? Can you motivate him? Can you give him a pep talk?" And she did that, and he's just like, "I'm not doing it." And he just he just basically was just like, put his head down, kind of started crying. He's like, "I'm not doing it." And I was telling the class, like, when you finish, we're gonna have free time because it's the last day of the week, right? I like to give him a little free time at the end of the week. And he kept crying. He finally finished, and then he wanted his free time. I was like, I told the collab teacher and him, I was like, you can get his free time, but I just need him to calm down. I need him to stop crying. Once he stops crying and screaming, he can get his free time. Well, that upset him because he didn't get to do it right then and there. And then we kind of got to this point where we call it win time, but it's our interventions. And he was still crying. And I had written on a piece of paper that he gets 7 minutes of free time once he calms himself. He didn't want to read it because he was in this mood, right? But then I was like, well, now I can't send him to interventions until he calms, because I can't have him go over there and start, whining and throwing stuff around and throwing a fit, because then that teacher is not going to know how to deal with him, and that's going to make them hard. And so I'm trying to teach my WIN group, my reading group. He's crying. Luckily, my collab partner was still there, but then he's just trying to go out the door. So we just had to stand in front of the door. Like, it was really annoying trying to teach, right? But it's like I said, it was just funny. He's like, I don't never get to do what I want. And I'm like, I think we've joked before, like these kids, he's on the autism spectrum, so I don't completely blame him, right? But he's throwing his fit, and in your mind, you're trying to tune it out as a teacher, right?
Yeah.
But in your mind, there's that one moment you just kind of want to yell back at them. Why don't you stop?
Like, you're not gonna now either.
Yeah. No, it was a no deal,
It reminds me
But then
of
once he finally calmed down, he acted like it never happened. So
it reminds me of Phoebe when she freaks out. She's like, "I love Jacques Cousteau," and they're like, "What?"
They're like, I think he's dead.
I think he's dead. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna say this next teachable moment for next week, just so you know, all right? So we can go on to Chappin Choey. We haven't had a Chappin Choey in a while. It's always good to end on a high note, right? Right, sir?
Absolutely. I'm glad that I'm a high note. It's crazy that we don't plan these things, and it fit perfectly in with what you're talking about, because I had a student in my role that I'm performing now calls in the office and says, hey, and they have this recording. One of the accommodations is this a note-taking application that we afford the students free of charge. Like we cover it, and so you just like a little audio recorder. You can run it through your phone or a laptop or whatever. I'm sorry, everybody, for all that. But so the student calls in and says, hey, I'm having issues with it this semester. It's never had issues before, but it's having issues now. And I said, okay, well, what's happening? And the student proceeds to walk me through the fact that they utilize it to record some Zoom class meetings that they have, and it works great. Never have any problems with it.
Thought they were going to say something else. I was like,
no. And so, and it worked great for the Zoom classes. It works great for the in-person classes. But there's one class that the professor projects over WebEx, and it doesn't work on WebEx. And I said, okay. And I said, and I asked him, because you know what I mean? Like you assume that when somebody brings you a problem, well, at least I do.
yeah.
I assume that you're operating a little bit higher sometimes than other, like, you know what I mean? Like if you come and you're like, hey, my computer doesn't work, I don't think that you don't have it plugged in. I think that you have it plugged in. You got it turned on, like, you know what I mean? Like, but it's not turning on. Like, what? I'm not like gonna be like, was it plugged in? Because I don't ever take it to that bottom level right away. It's like, so I'm like, okay. So I asked him a few more cuts, and then I go back and I was like, so tell me it again. And so she does, and she said, yeah, well, it works on Zoom, it works in person, it doesn't work on WebEx. And I said, okay. And then she tells me the second part when she was like, well, and when I called the place, the programmer, they told me it doesn't work through that platform. So I don't know what to do. And I said, wait, go back again. So you called them, you called the provider, and they said it doesn't work through that platform? The student says, yeah. And I said, okay.
You're like, we may have solved something here.
I know. So I was like, okay. So then they said, like, you can't record it on your device Because essentially, like if you're doing like a virtual meeting right here, like I could have it recording us talking on the computer,
Yeah.
so it could like the device could record to its own device, but you can't do it from WebEx on your computer to record it onto your own device. You can do it with Zoom, and so I'm like, well, you just. And it took me 10 minutes to like walk through, and I really don't believe that student really fully grasped that like, yeah, like you told me the problem, and you can't do it, like, so you're gonna have to like project it off and so I finally was like, well, have you tried running the WebEx class on your laptop and then recording from your phone? And they were like, well, no, because it doesn't work. It didn't work before. I've never had this problem, and I was like, no, I got you. I get where that was coming from. And I was just like, and I was just thinking like, dude, like what are you going to do in life when you're like, what? When I'm driving down the street and it's got red, yellow, green, but they're full circles. This one has only an arrow. What do I do? Do I go? Because it's not a green circle, it's a green arrow. Like, I don't know what's going on. And I was like, what in the world is wrong with you?
I was wondering, and you answered it because I was going to ask you, I was like, how long did it take to go? Because I remember, dude, one of the questions that I remember, I had to take 3 tests in Illinois to be a certified teacher, right? There were different steps you had to go through.
Mm-hmm.
And the third one was like, okay, you're officially certified teacher. And I was one of the first ones in my program group to do it. And so we had this like, call it like a little panel, but we had this meeting with all the students of us that were in that program. There was about 110 of us, right? And I think 3 of us had taken the test, and we weren't allowed to discuss questions, but they would ask us stuff, right? And I told them, I remember, I was like, they're gonna ask you. I was like, most of the things they ask you, if you can have the kids working in groups, use that as a choice. If you can use technology as you're teaching, use that as a choice. But I told them, I was like, but there was one question, and where they literally like, my computer's not working. How do I troubleshoot it, right? And I was telling the people there, especially a lot of the girls, no offense, were like, well, I don't know how to fix computers. And I was like, well, just pause for a timeout. Just let me go through the choices. I was like, one of the answer choices is like, make sure it's plugged in. And I was like, when I was in the Navy, we had to worry about that, right? It's like, it's the most obvious thing. I remember like trying, my niece and nephew, their Wii didn't work about 8 years ago, right? And so my stepsister was like, hey, when you're over here, Jandler, can you help fix it? I was like, sure. So when I looked at it, I mean, it took me about 10 minutes to kind of figure it out because I didn't look at it it wasn't plugged in. And I was just like, and I got it working, and she's like, hey, you got it working. I was like, it wasn't plugged in. But yeah, like sometimes you can spend
that'll be $50.
Yeah, sometimes you can spend a ton of time solving a problem that you're like, man, it's so easy. So 10 minutes though, still frustrating, especially if that girl doesn't get. I'm guessing it's a girl. If she doesn't get what you're saying, like
I don't have faith in that student understood what I was saying. I really don't. Yeah. So I was just like, well, keep working at it, and I'll let you know if I find anything new. Oh, okay. And I'm like, what? Like, no, like the answer you gave me the answer in the thing, like. It doesn't work like this way. And they said it doesn't. I'm like, they told you. They already told you that it doesn't work this way. Why do you think that me, who didn't invent this technology, doesn't own this technology, is going to be able to figure it out and fix it for the people who told you it don't work like that?
Dr. Tribbiani, like, how come my car stops every time I hit the brake? How am I supposed to fix that?
It's like, I don't get it. Like, every time I like drink 4 bottles of wine, I pass out. Like, I don't get what's like. I think it's the brand of wine. Like, no, dummy, it's the alcohol. It's the amount of alcohol that you drink right there. It has nothing to do with the amount. Like, whatever. But I'm like, what? Like, it's just like you looking. I'm like, what'd you say? No, listen what you're telling me.
But now it's funny. We've talked about it before. I think you brought it up before too. Is like, well, I think we both, even though I'm dealing with younger kids, I think we both will kind of look at it in a way and be like, how is this person going to function when they're out in the real world if they're doing stuff like this, right? Like, Like I was making fun of it on the wine and cheese corner. But if they're like, hey, I'm out of space on this paper, well, turn it over. If not, get a new piece of paper. I was like,
Yeah.
those aren't like complicated solutions. It's not like I'm like, well, you need to go chop down a tree, learn how to flatten it, and put lines on it, create your own. It's like, just go get a new piece of paper,
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, people.
Sometimes people don't like, I don't know. And now we're going to sound old here. Like, cause I know they sit on our soapbox and be like, think about our generation, but I know again, every generation probably shaking their head at the generation that follows them. But I just remember growing up hearing that a lot. Problem solve, Jandler. Problem solve. Okay, so I learned how to figure stuff out.
When
I gotta do it.
I remember, and I explained to the classes I taught this past fall for the intro to college classes for some of these students. I'm like, dude, you have no idea how amazing you have it. You can push a button on your little phone and say something to it and ask it a question, and it'll help you out. And it'll give you suggestions if you don't say it the right way. I was like, I remember when I was a kid, and I would ask my dad, how do you spell this word? And he'd be like, well, go look it up. And I remember thinking, like, that's stupid. If I knew how to look at, if I knew how to spell it, then I could look it up. I don't know how to spell it. So what if I look up the wrong word? Because I'm like, oh, sound, and then they like sound it out, which makes a great amount of sense until you realize that like psychology has a P in front of it.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're like, wait a second.
English language. Yeah. You gotta, you're shifting my brain real quick, and I'll talk about this. We're getting ready to wrap it up. But I remember hearing that all the time too about the dictionary. Like, we'll look it up. And I remember thinking the same thing. If I don't know how to spell it, how am I going to look it up? But what it reminded me of is I do remember being at school, especially when I got middle school, high school, and I started getting a little more, rambunctious, I guess you'd say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Looking up, let me see if they have what kind of dirty words I can find in the dictionary. I'm like, oh, it's in here. I'm like, oh, they got poop in here. They got, I'm like, man, they got female dog in here. And I was like, haha.
And laughing about it too. Like a more
yeah,
like
exactly.
It's his penis.
Yeah, they got male genitalia. Woohoo. They got female genitalia. They got, with it, girl nipples. Or whatever you want to call it,
Girl nipples. What? They're nipples.
I didn't know how to say breast without saying breast.
What are girl nipples? I mean, granted, they're probably different depending on the thing.
It's not like camel toe and moose knuckle where you're like, by the way, dude, speaking of that,
girl nipples.
Years ago, I thought we kind of invented moose knuckle because I'd never heard of moose knuckle before.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of remember thinking about it in Illinois and then remember joking about it with you, or you joked about it with me. And then I started hearing it and I was like, oh, I thought we came up with something. So we didn't.
No. Well,
Unless you did it before me.
No. I mean, I would love to be credited with like
claim
some sort of like
I claimed it.
Urban Dictionary word.
Yeah.
There was a girl like I know at UTSA that was her nickname because she would always have. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Jesus. Oh my gosh. And it was like when I was like, you have to know. You have to know. Like the outfits this girl would wear, and you're like, Jesus Christ, superstar, man. Like, what's going on with you?
All right. Anyway, let's go ahead and do the social media plug, and we'll end it. You think your voice can handle it, or do you want me to do it?
I'll do it.
All right.
Let me get my oxygen tank.
As I choke to death over here, like I got this.
Well, follow us on Twitter or X and TikTok at Choey and Jan, at CHOEY, the letter N, JAN. On Threads and Instagram at Choey and Jan 2. It's at CHOEYN, JANTOO. On YouTube at Jandler Bing 969. And then on Facebook as Jandler Bing. Jandler Bing.
And like I text message earlier this week, I'm going to work on trying to somehow promote us better this summer so we get more views, man. More constant eyes, Would kind of be cool. Like even Ramonica, I think it would be cool. And I think the missus for you would be cool. Like she'd probably shake her head if you ever told her, hey, we made some money. We're making money,
I told her we made like ones and ones of dollars already.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. We made like less than $80 in 4
Dude,
years.
I think, yeah. I have faith at some point.
Yeah.
At some point.
It's gonna be crazy though if we get to that point. Let's just fast forward. I'll say season 10, right? Imagine if by season 10 we're making $500 a week, right? Would you be like, damn, you know?
That would pay for our drinks on air, that's for sure.
Yeah. You're like, or like even if there's some of those shows, like I don't know if we'll ever get to that point where there's some people that making like, I don't know, 5 figures in a month or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
That'd be really good.
So to give to his credit, brought to us by the letter G, I at some point would like to do the little video cast. I would like to be a little more comfortable where we're at and as far as like our stuff, so that way nobody's like tattletale because I'm a whiny baby.
Yeah.
And then we'll have to be very. We'll have to like put like almost like you ever watch Law and Order SVU where it's like the following stories are not based on anybody real. We'll have to be like put it out there like
or
people
we
listen.
do
Like, that was me.
we do the videos and we have that little blur over our face, you know, like they did on like those crime shows.
Little black box thing or whatever it is.
Yes. So they can't see our face. And they're like, this is our viewing or whatever. I personally, this is us. I mean, this is me, right? Because this is, you know, like you tend to do stuff that you find entertaining. What I would like to do is take our video and use it with video, but make that video like an animated version of ourselves. That's what I would like to do, you know?
As long as it's a normal looking animation. Because some of those, remember when you like animated us and like it was like the whole video? Some of those pictures of me were freaky looking.
Oh, you mean that app?
Yeah. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I was like, I look like a monster.
I don't know. Like I said, that's always something I'm thinking about. But all right, dude, want me to go ahead and pull the plug?
Yank it.
Live and loud till morning light. Joey yells another round. Chandler spills it on the ground.